I tasted blood in my mouth as I watched my wife's hand slide up Senator Rodriguez's thigh through the hotel bar mirror. The wedding ring I'd saved 6 months to buy glinted as she gripped his leg. When I followed them to room 1247 and looked through the peephole, I heard her say 8 words that destroyed our 15-year marriage. I want to have your baby, not his. But that wasn't the worst part. Before we begin, let me know where you're tuning in from down in the comments. And if you enjoy this story, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next tale. Chapter 1. Blood. That's what filled my mouth as I bit down hard on my tongue, watching my wife's manicured hand slide along another man's thigh in the mirror behind the bartender. The Fairmont Hotel bar was dim, all mahogany and leather, the kind of place where secrets went to dress up in expensive suits. Claire didn't know I was here. She thought I was in Baltimore, chasing down a story about defense contractors. Instead, I sat 3 stools away, nursing a scotch that tasted like ashes, watching her lean into Senator Isaac Rodriguez like she was trying to crawl inside his skin. "Another one, sir?" The bartender's voice cut through the jazz, bleeding from hidden speakers. "2," I said, not taking my eyes off the mirror. "1 for now, 1 for later." In the reflection, Claire threw her head back, laughing at something Isaac whispered. Her wedding ring caught the amber light from the bar's Edison bulbs, the ring I'd saved 6 months for 15 years ago. Now it glinted like a broken promise as her fingers traced patterns on his thigh. The bartender set down 2 glasses. I knocked back the first one, feeling it burn a path to my stomach. The second one would be for after I followed them upstairs. My phone buzzed. Miles. "Where's Mom?" She said she'd help with my calculus. My 16-year-old son, brilliant and trusting. I typed back with steady fingers. "Editorial emergency. She'll be late." Another lie to add to the pile. But whose pile was bigger, mine or hers? Claire stood, smoothing down her black dress, the one I'd bought her for our anniversary last month. Isaac's hand found the small of her back, proprietary, like he'd been touching her for years. Maybe he had. They moved toward the elevators, Claire's heels clicking a countdown on the marble floor. I waited 30 seconds, then followed. The elevator display showed they'd stopped on the 12th floor. I took the stairs, my journalist instincts kicking in. Always have an alternate route. Always be invisible. Room 1247. I heard them before I reached the door, Claire's laugh, but different. Throatier. Hungrier. A sound I hadn't heard in our bedroom in 2 years. I pressed my ear against the door, then thought better of it. The peephole would give me a limited view, but it was something. I looked through just as Claire straddled Isaac on the bed, her back arching in a way that made my chest feel hollow. "God, Isaac," she moaned, and even muffled through the door, I could hear the need in her voice. "I've wanted this all day." "Just all day?" His voice was amused, confident, the voice of a man who knew he'd already won. "You know what I mean." The sound of clothes being removed. "These editorial meetings with Henry's boss. All I could think about was you." My name in her mouth while she was with him, it was like swallowing glass. "How many times have we done this now?" Isaac asked. "Don't count," Claire breathed. "Just don't stop." The sounds that followed told me everything I needed to know. My wife, the woman who'd complained about being too tired, too stressed, too anything for the past 2 years, was very much alive in that room, just not for me. I stumbled back from the door, my shoulder hitting the opposite wall. A couple passed by, giving me a concerned look. I straightened my tie, smiled the smile I'd perfected during 20 years of interviewing liars. "Locked myself out," I said. They nodded, kept walking. I made it back to the bar, where my second scotch waited like an old friend. The bartender raised an eyebrow. "Rough night?" "Getting there," I said. My phone buzzed again. Claire this time. "Working late. Don't wait up. Love you. Love you." I almost laughed. Instead, I ordered a 3rd scotch and started planning. The thing about being an ex-CIA analyst is you never really forget how to gather intelligence. You never forget how to be patient. And you never ever forget how to destroy someone from the inside out. I thought about the conversation I'd overheard, not just the passion, but something else. Claire had mentioned editorial meetings, plural. She'd been using her position at the Washington Herald to meet with people about. What? And Isaac's voice when he'd asked how many times he wasn't just counting their encounters. He was confirming something. The bartender was wiping down glasses, the bar nearly empty now. In the mirror, I caught my reflection, 45 years old, gray creeping into my stubble, eyes that had seen too much even before tonight. I looked like what I was, a man discovering that his life was fiction. "You know what the problem with mirrors is?" I said to the bartender. He paused in his cleaning. "What's that?" "They show you what's really there, not what you want to see." He nodded slowly, the way people do when they think you might be drunk or dangerous. Maybe I was both. I paid my tab, left a tip that would ensure he'd remember me, and walked out into the October night. The air was sharp, autumn trying to knife its way into winter. Somewhere above me, on the 12th floor, my wife was in bed with another man. I pulled out my phone, scrolled through my contacts until I found the number I hadn't used in 3 years. Sophia Anderson, private investigator, former NSA. We'd worked together on a story about government surveillance. She'd been thorough, brilliant, and completely ruthless when it came to uncovering the truth. I typed out a message. "Need your help. Usual rates. Complete discretion." Her response came within minutes. "When do we start?" "Tonight," I wrote back. Because if Claire wanted to play games, she'd chosen the wrong opponent. I'd spent 5 years in the CIA learning how to dismantle lives piece by piece. I'd just never thought I'd have to use those skills on my own. As I walked to my car, I thought about that taste of copper in my mouth. How blood tastes like pennies, like violence, like the moment before everything changes. Tomorrow, Claire would come home with her lies and her secret smiles, and I'd pretend to believe them all. But tonight, the war had begun. She just didn't know it yet. Chapter 2. 3 months. That's how long I'd been blind. I sat in my home office at 3 a.m., laptop screen painting my face blue in the darkness, piecing together the timeline. Every book club meeting, every late editorial night, every goddamn lie she'd fed me while I swallowed them whole like a starving man. The charity gala in July, that's where it started. Or at least, where it became obvious to everyone but me. I pulled up the photos from the Washington Herald Society page. There was Claire in that silver dress, her hand on Isaac's arm as he accepted some humanitarian award. Jesus! Even the photographer had caught it the way she looked at him. Like he was water and she'd been wandering the desert. My phone vibrated. "Sophia. Meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m., the usual place. I have something." The usual place was a diner in Arlington, grease-stained and forgotten, where secrets went to get coffee. I closed the laptop, but sleep was a foreign country I'd lost my passport to. Instead, I went to our bedroom, our battlefield disguised as Egyptian cotton and domestic bliss. Claire was asleep, or pretending to be. Her phone was on the nightstand, face down, always face down now. I studied her in the darkness. 38 years old, still beautiful in that way that made other men stupid. The kind of beauty that was a weapon she'd learned to wield with surgical precision. Her dark hair spilled across the pillow, and for a moment I remembered when I used to wrap it around my fingers, when she used to gasp my name like a prayer instead of an obligation. "Can't sleep?" Her voice made me jump. "Stories got me wound up," I said, the lie coming easy as breathing. She rolled over, and I caught a glimpse of something on her shoulder, a mark, like a scratch. "Come to bed, Henry. You work too much." "Funny," I said, settling on the edge of the bed. "I was thinking the same about you, all these late nights." Even in the darkness, I felt her stiffen. "The editorial department's been crazy. You know how it is." "Yeah," I said. "I know exactly how it is." She was quiet for a moment, then, "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Just tired." Her hand found my back, fingers tracing patterns through my t-shirt. It was the first time she'd touched me voluntarily in weeks. "Maybe we should take a vacation, just the two of us." "What about your book club?" I asked. "Don't you have that thing on Tuesday?" "I could skip it." Liar. I knew she wouldn't skip it. Tuesday afternoons were sacred. I'd learned that from the hotel valet who'd become my unwitting informant. $100 tip, and suddenly he remembered everything about my wife and the senator. Room 1247 every Tuesday, like clockwork. Miles has a game Tuesday, I said. Parent-teacher conference, too. Oh. The relief in her voice was subtle, but I'd become an expert in the geography of her deceptions. I forgot. The next morning, she was gone before I woke up. A note on the kitchen counter. Early meeting. Love you. Miles was at the breakfast table, all gangly limbs and suspicious eyes. He looked more like me every day, same angular face, same tendency to see too much. Mom's been weird lately, he said, not looking up from his cereal. Weird how? He shrugged, that teenage gesture that could mean anything or nothing. I saw her at school last week, with Uncle Isaac. My coffee mug froze halfway to my mouth. Uncle Isaac? That's what she told me to call him. Said he was an old family friend. Miles finally looked up. But you've never mentioned him. Smart kid, too smart. What were they doing at your school? Some career day thing, but they left early, together. I set down my mug carefully, the way you handle explosives. Did they see you? No, I was in the library, saw them through the window. Mom was laughing a lot. She doesn't laugh like that at home. The knife twisted deeper. Even our son could see it. After dropping Miles at school, I met Sophia at the diner. She was already in our usual booth, coffee black, files spread across the cracked Formica table. At 32, she had that sharp-edged beauty that came from seeing too much and giving a damn about none of it. You look like hell, she said by way of greeting. Charming as always. I slid into the booth. What do you have? She pushed a folder across the table. Your wife's been busy. Inside were photos. Claire and Isaac entering hotels, restaurants, even an apartment building in Georgetown. The timestamps told a story of systematic deception. This goes back 6 months, I said. At least. That's just what I could document in 3 days. Sophia leaned back. But Henry, there's something else. She pulled out another photo. Claire at a pharmacy, purchasing something. The receipt was clipped to the photo, circled in red. Plan B, emergency contraception. When was this? Last month, but here's the interesting part. Another photo. Claire at a different pharmacy, buying birth control pills. She filled a prescription 2 days ago, but you had a vasectomy 3 years ago. I stared at her. How did you— I'm good at my job. She stirred her coffee. The question is, why is she taking birth control if she's not sleeping with you? The answer was obvious and horrible. She was sleeping with me just enough to maintain the illusion, but she was protecting herself from Isaac's baby while trying to trap me with— What? There's more, Sophia said. The senator isn't just dirty politically. He's connected to some very dangerous people, defense contractors, foreign nationals. Your wife might be in deeper than just an affair. I thought about Claire's mentions of editorial meetings, about Isaac's calculated questions. This wasn't just about sex. It never is, not really. Keep digging, I said. I want to know everything. That afternoon, I did something I'd never thought I would. I searched our house like it was a crime scene, and in Claire's gym bag, wrapped in workout clothes she never used, I found it. A second phone. The messages were all there, deleted from her regular phone but preserved in this digital confession booth. Hundreds of texts between her and Isaac, photos that made my stomach turn, and worse discussions about me, about my work, about stories the Herald was investigating. One message from Isaac stood out. Your husband's getting close to the Thornton deal. Can you slow him down? Claire's response. Already handled. Edited his notes before submission. He'll never know. She wasn't just cheating on me. She was sabotaging my work, my career, everything I'd built. The front door opened. Claire's voice called out, Henry, you home? I slipped the phone back into her bag, arranged everything exactly as I'd found it. By the time she reached the bedroom, I was at my desk, staring at a blank document. Hey, she said, leaning against the doorframe. She'd changed clothes since this morning, different dress, fresh makeup. I thought you'd be at the office. Working from home today. I turned to look at her, really look at her. The slight flush in her cheeks, the way her hair was slightly messed despite being recently brushed. The faint mark on her neck she'd tried to cover with concealer. You okay? She asked. You look tired. Just thinking about the past, I said. Remember that hotel where we stayed for our anniversary? The Fairmont? Something flickered in her eyes. That was years ago. Funny. I drove by there yesterday. Looks exactly the same. She turned away, busying herself with her jewelry box. I wouldn't know. I haven't been there in forever. Another lie. So easy for her now, like muscle memory, like breathing. But muscles can be retrained, and I was about to teach her a whole new kind of pain. Chapter 3. The office was quiet when Sophia walked in, all calculated confidence and dangerous information. It had been 2 weeks since our last meeting, 2 weeks of me pretending not to notice Claire's Tuesday disappearances, her new lingerie hidden in the back of drawers, the way she showered immediately when she came home. "You're going to want to sit down for this," Sophia said, placing a tablet on my desk. On the screen was a video, grainy but clear enough. Claire at an ATM, withdrawing cash. Nothing unusual except for the timestamp last Tuesday, 2:47 p.m., during her supposed book club. "So?" I asked. "Watch where she goes next." The video switched to another camera, Claire entering a clinic, a fertility clinic. My blood turned to ice water. What the hell? She's been going for 3 months. IVF consultations, hormone treatments, the works. Sophia pulled up financial records. Paying cash off the books, no insurance claims. But I had a vasectomy. She knows that. Does she? Sophia's eyes were sharp. Or did you just assume she knew? I thought back. Had I ever explicitly told Claire about the procedure? I'd had it done during a business trip 3 years ago, after she'd mentioned wanting another child during one of our fights. It was petty, vengeful, but I'd been angry. Now it might be the only thing saving me. "There's more," Sophia continued. "The senator's being investigated. FBI, DOJ, the whole alphabet soup. Your wife's name keeps coming up in intercepts." Intercepts? Phone taps. Legally obtained, according to my sources. She pulled up another document. Claire's been feeding Isaac information about Herald investigations, particularly ones involving his campaign donors. The room felt too small suddenly, like the walls were pressing in. My wife wasn't just having an affair, she was committing treason against journalism, against everything we'd built our careers on. My phone buzzed. Miles. "Mom's not at school for the meeting. Neither are you. What's going on?" Shit. The parent-teacher conference. I'd completely forgotten. "I have to go," I told Sophia. "Keep digging." "Henry." She caught my arm as I stood. "Be careful. People like Isaac don't just have affairs. They own people. And right now he owns your wife." I drove to Miles's school on autopilot, my mind racing through possibilities, each worse than the last. The conference was almost over when I arrived, making excuses about traffic. Miles didn't buy it. I could see it in his eyes, that same suspicious look I'd perfected at his age. "Where's Mom?" he asked in the car. "Working, I assume." "No, she's not." He pulled out his phone, showed me a location tracker. "I put it on her phone last month. She's at the Fairmont Hotel." I nearly crashed the car. "You did what?" "I'm not stupid, Dad. I know something's wrong. She's been lying to both of us." My 16-year-old son had figured out what had taken me months to see. The shame of it burned like acid. "How long have you known?" "Since the summer." She kept taking calls in the garage, whispering. "And Uncle Isaac?" He paused, looking out the window. "I heard them once, at that charity thing. They were in the coat room and they weren't just talking." "Miles, are you going to divorce her?" The question hung between us like a loaded gun. "I don't know." "You should," he said quietly. "She doesn't love us anymore. Maybe she never did." That night, Claire came home at 11 p.m., smelling like expensive wine and cheaper lies. I was in the living room pretending to read when she walked in. "Late night?" I asked. "Editorial crisis. You know how it is." She kicked off her heels, the same ones she'd worn that first night I'd followed her. "Miles asleep?" "In his room. He covered for you at the conference today." She froze. The conference. God, Henry, I completely forgot. "Yeah, you've been forgetting a lot lately." She moved closer, and I could smell him on her Isaac's cologne, musky and overwhelming. "Are you angry?" Should I be? She straddled my lap suddenly, a move so unexpected I nearly pushed her off. I know I've been distant. Work's been crazy, and I haven't been a good wife. Her hands were on my chest, her body pressing against mine in ways it hadn't in months. But all I could think about was where those hands had been hours ago, what that body had been doing. Claire. Shh. She kissed my neck, grinding against me. Let me make it up to you. It was a test, I realized. She was checking if I suspected anything, using her body like a lie detector. So I played along, let my hands find her waist, pulled her closer. I miss you, she whispered, and for a moment she sounded genuine. I miss you too, I lied. She led me to our bedroom, and what followed was mechanical, desperate on her part, clinical on mine. She was trying too hard, performing rather than feeling, and I wondered if this was how she was with Isaac, or if she saved the real passion for him. Afterward, she fell asleep quickly, curled away from me. I waited an hour, then slipped out of bed and went to her gym bag. The second phone was there, a new message waiting. Isaac. How did it go? Claire had already responded. Perfect. He doesn't suspect anything. We're clear for Thursday. Thursday. Not Tuesday, their usual day. Something special was planned. I screenshotted everything, sent it to my own phone, then placed hers back exactly as I'd found it. In the bathroom, I stared at myself in the mirror, looking for signs of what I'd become. A spy in my own home, a stranger in my own bed. The next morning, Claire was affectionate, making breakfast, kissing me goodbye, the performance of a loving wife. Miles watched it all with dead eyes, seeing through the charade. I'll be late tonight, she said. Book club moved to Thursday this week. Have fun, I said, kissing her forehead. Say hi to the girls for me. She smiled, relieved. I will. After she left, I called Sophia. Thursday. They're meeting Thursday. I'll have eyes on them. No, I said. I want to be there. I want to see it myself. Henry, that's not... I need to see it, I insisted. I need to know exactly who I married. Thursday came like a slow-motion car crash. Claire left work early, texting me about book club, about not waiting up. I followed at a distance, watching her check her mirrors, take unnecessary turns. She was being careful, but not careful enough. The Fairmont Hotel, room 1247, their sanctuary. I waited in the stairwell, door cracked, watching the hallway. They arrived separately, Isaac first, then Claire 20 minutes later. She knocked a pattern on the door, their secret code. When the door opened, I saw him pull her inside, heard her laugh. Then silence. I approached the door, my hand shaking as I raised it to the peephole. What I saw broke something inside me that I didn't know could still break. They were on the bed, Claire on top, moving with an abandon I'd never seen. Not just the physical act, but the joy in it, the complete surrender. She was saying things, filthy things, loving things, things she'd never said to me. And then, cutting through it all, clear as a bell, I want to have your baby. I stopped taking the pills. I want to give you what she never could. Isaac's response was muffled, but Claire's laugh was crystal clear. Don't worry about Henry. After tomorrow's article runs, he'll be ruined. You'll be the hero who exposed him, and I'll be the grieving wife who had no idea her husband was corrupt. The article. Tomorrow. They were going to destroy me. I backed away from the door, my legs barely holding me. In the stairwell, I called Sophia. Change of plans, I said. We move tonight. What happened? They're not just having an affair, I said, tasting copper again, that flavor of violence. They're trying to destroy me. But they forgot one thing. What's that? I thought about my CIA training, about the operations I'd run, the lives I'd dismantled in service of my country. They forgot that I know how to fight a war. And in war, you don't just defeat your enemies. You destroy everything they love, salt the earth, so nothing can grow again. Henry. Tonight, Sophia, we burn it all down. As I walked back to my car, I thought about Claire's words, about giving Isaac a baby. She didn't know about my vasectomy. She didn't know about the evidence I'd gathered. She didn't know that tomorrow, instead of my destruction in the headlines, it would be hers. The taste of copper was stronger now, but it wasn't from biting my tongue anymore. It was the taste of revenge, and I was just getting started. Chapter 4. War isn't about the big explosions. It's about the small cuts that bleed you dry before you even know you're dying. I started small. Tuesday morning, 5 a.m., while Claire slept off whatever she'd done with Isaac the night before. I moved her coffee mug 2 inches to the left, shifted her car keys from the hook to the counter, turned all her shoes in the closet to face the wrong direction. Petty? Maybe. But I'd learned in the CIA that the best way to break someone wasn't through violence, it was to make them doubt their own reality. Have you seen my keys? Claire's voice carried frustration as she rushed around the kitchen. On the counter, I said, not looking up from my laptop. Where you left them. I always hang them up. Guess you forgot. She stared at me for a moment, something flickering in her eyes. Suspicion? Guilt? Then she grabbed the keys and left without kissing me goodbye. Progress. At noon, I met Sophia at a parking garage in Crystal City. She leaned against her car, leather jacket and ripped jeans, looking like trouble I wanted to dive into. You sure about this? She asked, handing me a flash drive. Once this information gets out, there's no going back. There's already no going back. I pocketed the drive. What's on it? Everything. Isaac's offshore accounts, his meetings with defense contractors, the bribes, all clean enough to look like legitimate journalism, dirty enough to destroy him. How'd you get this? She smiled, dangerous and beautiful. I have my ways. The question is, how are you going to leak it without it coming back to you? Leave that to me. I'd already identified 3 journalists hungry enough for a story to not ask too many questions about sources. By Friday, Isaac Rodriguez will be radioactive. And Claire? Claire's about to learn what it feels like when the ground shifts under your feet. That afternoon, I stopped by the Washington Herald building. Claire's assistant, Audrey Martinez, was at her desk, all curves and barely concealed ambition. 28 years old, Georgetown law degree, and according to Sophia's research, Isaac's mistress before Claire came along. Mr. Davis, she said, her smile not reaching her eyes. Claire's in a meeting. I'm not here for Claire. I sat on the edge of her desk, close enough to make her uncomfortable. I'm here for you. Her fingers stilled on the keyboard. I don't understand. I think you do. I pulled out my phone, showed her a photo Sophia had taken Isaac entering a hotel with a young blonde, who definitely wasn't Claire. Familiar pattern? Audrey's jaw tightened. I don't know what you're talking about. 3 years ago, you were Isaac's flavor of the month, until Claire decided she wanted him. I leaned closer. Must sting, watching them together, knowing she took what was yours. You don't know anything. I know you keep recordings. It was a guess, but her flinch told me I was right. Insurance policy or revenge? She was quiet for a long moment, then, both. I can help you get what you want. Which is, to watch them both burn. Her smile this time was real and vicious. There's a bar on K Street, Murphy's. I get off at 6. That evening, Claire came home distracted, edgy. She'd changed clothes twice since morning, I could tell by the different perfume layers, like an olfactory confession. Everything okay? I asked, watching her pace the kitchen. Fine, just, have you noticed anything strange lately? Strange how? Things moved around. Emails I swear I didn't send. She rubbed her temples. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Part of me wanted to comfort her, that vestigial husband instinct. But then I remembered her moaning Isaac's name, planning my destruction, and the sympathy curdled into satisfaction. Maybe you're just stressed, I said. All those late nights. She looked at me sharply. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, just that you've been working hard. Right. Working. We ate dinner in silence, the space between us filled with lies and suspicion. Miles had texted that he was staying at a friend's house, smart kid, avoiding the battlefield. At 9, I told Claire I was going for a run. Instead, I drove to Murphy's. Audrey was 3 drinks in, her professional mask slipping. You know what the worst part was? She said, bourbon making her honest. It wasn't that he dumped me for her. It was how he did it. Tell me. We were in bed, right after, you know, and he gets a text from Claire about some editorial meeting. He literally pushed me off him, said I'm trading up, and left. She laughed bitterly. Trading up? Like I was a used car. Do you still have the recordings? She pulled out a phone, not her regular one. Everything. 3 months of pillow talk. Isaac likes to brag when he's relaxed. Defense contracts, bribes, even some light treason. Treason? Selling classified information to Chinese contractors. Your wife's been helping him, editing his communications to make them look like legitimate business correspondence. The floor tilted under me. This was bigger than an affair. This was criminal. I need copies, I said. What do I get? Revenge and immunity when this all comes out. She studied me, seeing something in my face that made her nod. There's something else. About Claire. What? She's not the first married woman Isaac's turned. It's his thing. He likes breaking up marriages, collecting wives like trophies. Claire's just the latest. I thought about Claire in that hotel room, thinking she was special, that Isaac loved her. The cruelty of it was almost beautiful. Send me everything, I said, giving her a secure email. By Monday, their world ends. Driving home, I saw Claire's car at a CVS. Through the window, I watched her at the pharmacy counter, accepting a bag with the kind of furtive nervousness that screamed guilt. I made it home before her, was already in bed when she slipped in beside me. She smelled like antiseptic and secrets. Where were you? She asked. Running. You? Needed some aspirin. Headache. We lay there in the dark, two strangers sharing a bed and nothing else. I could hear her breathing, irregular, anxious. Good. Henry? Her voice was small. Do you ever think about when we were happy? We were never happy, Claire. We were just better at pretending. She was quiet for so long I thought she'd fallen asleep. Then, I'm pregnant. The words hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. 3 years since my vasectomy. 2 months since she'd been with Isaac regularly. The math was cruel and perfect. Congratulations, I said. I'm sure Isaac will be thrilled. I felt her go rigid beside me. What? Oh, did you think I didn't know? I turned to face her in the darkness. Tuesday afternoons, room 1247, the Fairmont Hotel. Her breathing stopped. In the silence, I could hear her world cracking. Henry, save it. We both know whose baby it is. The only question is whether you're going to keep lying about it. She got up, stumbled to the bathroom. I heard her being sick, then crying. Part of me felt nothing. Part of me felt everything. War isn't about the big explosions. It's about the moment your enemy realizes they've already lost, and all that's left is watching them fall. Chapter 5. Friday morning came wrapped in gray clouds and the promise of violence. Not the physical kind, something worse. The kind that happens when carefully constructed, lies collapse under their own weight. I was at my computer by 4 a.m. watching the first domino fall. The Washington Post's early edition had just gone live. Senator Rodriguez under investigation for defense contract irregularities. My leak to their investigative team had worked perfectly. Claire's phone started ringing at 4:47. I watched from the doorway as she fumbled for it, Isaac's name glowing on the screen. What? No, I haven't seen. Oh, God. Her face drained of color. I'll be right there. Problem? I asked. She jumped, not realizing I was watching. Work emergency, I have to go. At 5 in the morning? Major story breaking, Senator Rodriguez. I need to manage the Herald's coverage. The lie came so easily, even now. Of course you do. She stopped halfway to the closet. What does that mean? Nothing. Just that you always seem very invested in the senator's affairs. The word affairs hung between us like a blade. She dressed quickly, silently, and left without saying goodbye. By noon, 3 more outlets had picked up the story. My strategic leaks were working like synchronized charges, each explosion triggering the next. Isaac's office was in full crisis mode, and I had a front-row seat through Audrey's inside information. He's losing it, she told me over a secure line. Throwing things, screaming at staff. He knows someone's targeting him but can't figure out who. What about Claire? She's been here all morning. They fought in his office. I heard her say something about fixing this, and him telling her she's made it worse. Perfect. Let them turn on each other. That afternoon, I was at Miles's school for a meeting with the principal. My son had been in another fight, this time breaking a kid's nose. "This is the third incident this month," Principal Morrison said, her concern genuine. "Miles has always been such a good student." "His mother and I are going through some difficulties," I said, the understatement of the century. Miles sat beside me, staring at his hands, 16 years old and carrying the weight of his parents' war. "I know about the affair," he said suddenly. Morrison's eyes widened. "Everyone knows. Jason's dad saw Mom with Senator Rodriguez at some restaurant, basically sitting in his lap. The whole school's talking about it." The humiliation was complete. Not just private betrayal, but public spectacle. "Miles," I started. "I'm not sorry," he interrupted. "Jason said Mom was a whore, so I hit him." "Miles!" Morrison gasped. "What? It's true, isn't it?" He looked at me, eyes blazing. "She's destroying our family for what? Some old guy with money?" "We'll handle this at home," I told Morrison, standing. "Miles is suspended, I understand. We'll deal with it." In the car, Miles finally broke. "Why don't you do something? Why do you just let her—" "I am doing something," I said quietly. "Watch the news tonight." At 6 p.m., the bomb dropped. CNN broke the story about Isaac's Chinese connections, complete with bank records I'd provided through Sophia. By 7, every major network was running it. By 8, the FBI had confirmed an investigation. Claire came home at 10, looking like she'd aged 5 years in one day. Her usually perfect hair was disheveled, her makeup smeared. She'd been crying. "You did this," she said, standing in the doorway of my office. "Did what?" "Don't play dumb. Isaac's being investigated because of leaks. Leaks that sound exactly like your writing style." I laughed, genuinely amused. "You think I care enough about your boyfriend to destroy him? Claire, he's destroying himself. I'm just watching." "You're lying." "That's rich. Coming from you." I stood, moved closer to her. "Tell me, when you're with him, do you ever think about the promises you made to me? Or is it easier to pretend our marriage never existed?" "Our marriage died years ago," she spat. "No, you killed it. Every Tuesday at the Fairmont. Every lie about book club. Every time you came home smelling like him and climbed into our bed." Her hand moved to slap me, but I caught her wrist. "Careful. Violence doesn't suit you. Betrayal, though you wear that beautifully." She jerked away. "I'm leaving." "To Isaac? Good luck. He's about to be radioactive. No one will touch him, including you." "You don't understand. I love him." "No, you love the idea of him. The power, the excitement, the danger, but Claire." I leaned in close. "He's using you. Just like he used Audrey Martinez. Just like he uses everyone." She froze. "How do you know about Audrey?" "I know everything, including the fact that while you're planning your future with Isaac, he's already shopping for your replacement." I showed her the photos on my phone, Isaac with the young blonde, entering hotels, intimate dinners. Claire's face crumbled. "No, these are fake. Timestamps don't lie, unlike everyone in your life." She stumbled to the couch, suddenly small and broken. "He said I was special." "You are special. You're the one who got pregnant." Her head snapped up. "How did you—" "The CVS bag, the morning sickness, the fertility clinic charges on your credit card." I sat across from her. "Were you ever going to tell me? Or were you planning to pass Isaac's baby off as mine?" "I don't know what I was planning," tears streaming down her face. "Everything's falling apart." "No, Claire. Everything's exactly where it should be. You made choices. Now you live with consequences." My phone buzzed. Sophia, with a link to breaking news, FBI raid Senator Rodriguez's office, arrests expected. I turned the screen toward Claire. She read it, her face going white. "They'll come for me too," she whispered. "I helped him edit those documents." "Yes, they will. Henry, please, you have to help me." "For Miles." "Miles has already chosen his side. He's staying with my sister until this is over." "You planned all of this." It wasn't a question. "I planned to love you forever. You planned to destroy me. Guess we both failed." She stood on shaking legs. "I need to warn Isaac. Go ahead. But Claire? He won't answer. Right now, he's probably trying to figure out which assistant to blame everything on. My guess? He'll say it was all you. She ran upstairs. I heard drawers slamming, her frantic phone calls. Isaac never answered. At midnight, she was gone. A note on the kitchen counter. Staying with my sister. We'll talk when you're ready to be reasonable. Reasonable. As if anything about this was reasonable. Miles came home an hour later, my sister dropping him off despite the late hour. Is she gone? He asked. For now. Good. He sat beside me on the couch. Dad? What happens next? Next, we watch them eat each other alive. And then? Then we rebuild. Without her. He nodded, older than his 16 years. I found something. In Mom's car. He handed me a flash drive. I think it's important. I plugged it into my laptop. Financial records, but not Isaac's Claire's. Secret accounts. Payments from sources I didn't recognize. Transactions going back 5 years. Where did you find this? Hidden in her spare tire compartment. I was looking for evidence about Isaac, but this is something else. My blood went cold as I recognized the payment patterns. Intelligence services, foreign handlers. My wife wasn't just having an affair, she was a spy. And suddenly, everything made terrifying sense. Chapter 6. Monday morning arrived like a guilty verdict. The FBI raids on Isaac's properties had been all over the weekend news, each revelation worse than the last. I sat in my kitchen, watching Claire's world collapse on live television while drinking coffee from the mug she'd bought me for Father's Day. The irony tasted bitter. Sophia arrived at 7 a.m. looking like she hadn't slept. We need to talk. About Claire's real job? I held up the flash drive Miles had found. Already know. Her eyes widened. How? My son's smarter than both his parents combined. I poured her coffee. Question is, how long have you known? Since yesterday. My NSA contacts flagged her name in an intercept. Henry, this is bigger than Isaac. Your wife's been working for multiple agencies. I know. The payment patterns are textbook intelligence work. And you're remarkably calm about it. I'm past surprise. Now I'm just curious how deep this goes. The doorbell rang. Through the peephole, I saw Audrey Martinez, looking like she'd been crying for days. He's going to kill me, she said as soon as I opened the door. Isaac knows I talked to you. Come in. She was shaking, clutching a laptop bag like a life preserver. After the raids, he called me, said if I testify, I'll disappear. He has people, Henry. Dangerous people. You're safe here, Sophia said, hand moving unconsciously to the concealed carry at her hip. Former NSA habits die hard. No, you don't understand. Audrey opened her laptop, showing us an email. This came an hour ago. Photos of her apartment, her car, her sister's house. The message was simple. Stay quiet or everyone you love pays. Son of a bitch, I muttered. There's more. She pulled up another file. I recorded everything, including this. Isaac's voice filled the kitchen, talking to someone on speaker. Claire's becoming a liability. After we frame Henry, she needs to disappear too. Make it look like suicide. Guilt over betraying her husband. Claire's voice responded, You promised we'd be together. And you promised to keep your husband under control. You failed. Now you're just another loose end. The recording ended. We sat in silence, absorbing the magnitude of their mutual betrayal. When was this? I asked. 3 days ago. She doesn't know I recorded it. My phone rang. Claire. Henry, I need help. She was crying, panicked. They arrested Isaac. They're coming for me next. Where are you? The Four Seasons, room 612. Please, I know you hate me, but I'll be there in 20 minutes. I hung up. Sophia stared at me. You're not seriously going to help her. No, I'm going to watch her world end in person. I turned to Audrey. Stay here. Sophia will protect you. Call the FBI. Tell them everything. It's time to end this. The Four Seasons was crawling with media when I arrived. Isaac's arrest had everyone scrambling for exclusive angles. I took the service elevator, avoiding the circus. Claire answered the door looking destroyed. Her designer dress was wrinkled, her face puffy from crying. The woman who'd meticulously planned my destruction was gone, replaced by something desperate and human. Thank you for coming, she said, reaching for me. I stepped back. I'm not here to save you. I'm here to watch you face what you've done. Henry, please. I know I hurt you, but... Hurt me? I laughed, dark and bitter. You tried to destroy me. You and Isaac were going to frame me for his crimes. Her face went white. How did you... Audrey recorded everything, including Isaac planning to kill you after I was arrested. She collapsed onto the bed, the last of her strength gone. No, he loves me. He loves power. You were just a tool to get it. I pulled up the photos on my phone, Isaac with his new conquest. This is from last night, Claire, hours after his release on bail. She looked at the images of Isaac in a car with the young blonde, their bodies intertwined in the back seat. The timestamp was clear. I gave up everything for him, she whispered. No, you threw everything away for an illusion. A knock at the door made us both freeze. FBI, open up. Claire looked at me, terror replacing despair. Henry, please. For Miles. Miles deserves better than both of us. I opened the door. 3 agents entered, badges visible, faces professional. Claire Davis, you're under arrest for conspiracy, espionage, and treason. As they read her rights, she kept looking at me, searching for something forgiveness maybe, or just acknowledgement that what we'd had once meant something. I loved you once, I told her as they cuffed her hands. That woman you used to be before the lies, before Isaac. I loved her completely. I'm still her, she said, tears streaming. No, you killed her. Tuesday afternoons at the Fairmont, one betrayal at a time. They led her away, past the gawking hotel guests, past the media who'd gotten wind of the arrest. Tomorrow her mugshot would be on every front page. The beautiful editor who'd fallen for a corrupt senator, who'd betrayed her country and her family for a man who'd already replaced her. I went back to the house to find Sophia and Audrey watching the news. Isaac's bail had been revoked after they'd found him trying to flee the country. The young blonde had been with him, probably thinking she'd won the lottery. She'd learn eventually what winning Isaac Rodriguez really meant. You okay? Sophia asked, her hand finding mine. Getting there. The FBI wants to interview you tomorrow. They know you were CIA, think you might have relevant intelligence. I'll tell them everything. Miles came home from school early, the news having spread like wildfire. He stood in the doorway, backpack still on, looking lost. Is it over? He asked. The worst part is, what happens to Mom? Prison, most likely, for a long time. He nodded, processing. Good. That night, Sophia stayed. Not romantically, that would come later when the wounds weren't so fresh. But she stayed, making dinner while Audrey gave her statement to the FBI via video call, while Miles did homework pretending everything was normal, while I sat in my office writing the first chapter of what would become my book. At midnight, my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Henry. Isaac's voice calling from federal detention. How did you... I still have friends, for now. He sounded amused, like this was all a game. I wanted you to know something. Claire was magnificent in bed. Desperate, willing, so eager to please. The things she did, the things she let me do. Did she ever tell you about the videos? My blood froze. What videos? Oh, Henry, for such a smart man, you're incredibly naive. Every hotel room, every encounter, I recorded everything. High definition, multiple angles, your wife performing like a professional. You're lying. Check your email. I did. A single link to a private server. My cursor hovered over it. Don't worry, Isaac continued. They're encrypted, for now. But if I don't make it to trial, if something happens to me in here, they go public. Every major media outlet, every social media platform. Miles will see his mother in ways no son should. You bastard. I'm a survivor. And now so are you. We're connected, Henry. You, me, and Claire. A triangle of mutual destruction. Poetic, isn't it? He hung up. I stared at the link, knowing that clicking it would show me things I could never unsee. Instead, I deleted the email and called my old CIA handler. Marcus, it's Henry. I need a favor. The kind we don't talk about. Jesus, Davis. After all these years. There's a man in federal detention who needs to learn about consequences. I'll see what I can do. I hung up and went to check on Miles. He was asleep, looking peaceful for the first time in months. Whatever happened next, I'd protect him from the worst of it. Downstairs, Sophia was on the couch, laptop open, working her own angles. "Find anything?" I asked. "Claire's handler. Reed Thompson, CIA, but he's been turned, working for the Chinese while pretending to run her for the agency." "So she was a double agent who didn't know she was actually a triple agent." "Looks like it. The FBI is going to have a field day." I sat beside her, suddenly exhausted. "How did it get this complicated?" "Love usually is," she said. "The real kind and the toxic kind." "Which kind is this?" I asked, looking at her. "Too early to tell." "But Henry?" She closed her laptop. "When this is over, when the trials are done and the book is written, what then? Then we see what's left standing and build from there. I can work with that." Outside, thunder rolled across the sky, promising a storm. Inside, we sat in comfortable silence, two damaged people finding solace in shared destruction. Somewhere across the city, Claire sat in a federal holding cell, probably still believing Isaac loved her. Isaac sat in his own cell, planning his next move, not knowing that my CIA contacts were already in motion. The war wasn't over, but the tide had turned, and tomorrow, the real demolition would begin. Chapter 7. Prison Orange didn't suit Claire, but desperation wore even worse. She sat across from me in the Federal Detention Center's visiting room, her hands cuffed to the table, her perfect facade cracked like old paint. 3 days since her arrest, and she'd aged 3 years. Her lawyer had managed to get her a bail hearing scheduled for tomorrow. Tonight was my last chance to watch her world burn from the inside out. "Why are you here, Henry?" Her voice was hoarse, probably from crying. "Thought we should have dinner together, one last time." I placed a bag on the table, Chinese takeout from the place we'd gone on our first date. The guard had already checked it, given me a knowing look. Everyone knew our story now. The betrayed husband and the treasonous wife. "This is cruel." "No. Cruel is what you did to our family. This is justice." I opened the containers, the smell of General Tso's chicken filling the sterile room. She hadn't eaten in days, according to her lawyer. The hunger in her eyes fought with her pride. "Eat," I said. "You'll need your strength for what's coming." She picked up the plastic fork with shaking hands. "Are you enjoying this?" "Not as much as you enjoyed Isaac." I pulled out my phone, showed her a photo Sophia had sent an hour ago. "Though he seems to be enjoying his freedom." The image showed Isaac at an upscale restaurant out on bail, his hand on the thigh of a young blonde. Anna Wilson, his newest aide, 23 years old with ambitions bigger than her experience. Claire's fork clattered to the table. "That's not. When was this?" "Last night, while you were in here thinking he loved you." "You're lying. These are old photos." "Check the newspaper on the table behind them. Yesterday's date." I zoomed in, making sure she could see it clearly. "That's the same restaurant he took you to, isn't it? The one where you thought you were special?" Her face crumbled. "No, he promised. He said I was different." "You were different. You were married. That's his thing, Claire. Ask Audrey Martinez. Ask Jennifer Walsh. Ask Patricia Chen. All married women he's conquered and discarded." "You're making those names up." I pulled out a folder, spread the contents across the table. Photos, documents, a clear pattern spanning 15 years. Isaac with various women, all married, all eventually destroyed. Jennifer Walsh, divorced 2018, lost custody of her kids when explicit photos surfaced. Patricia Chen, divorced 2019, attempted suicide after Isaac leaked their correspondence to her husband's employer. And you, Claire, soon to be divorced, facing 20 years for treason. She was sobbing now, ugly and raw. "I gave him everything." "No. You threw everything away. For what? A man who's already replaced you with someone younger, prettier, and more useful." "Stop. Did you know Anna Wilson speaks fluent Mandarin? Very useful for Isaac's Chinese connections. Much more useful than a disgraced editor facing federal charges." "Please, Henry, stop!" "Why? Did you stop when I begged you to come home? Did you stop when Miles cried himself to sleep, wondering why his mother was never there?" She looked up, mascara streaming down her face. "Miles, how is he?" Gone, living with my sister in Portland. He doesn't want to see you. He's my son. Biologically, maybe. But you stopped being his mother the day you chose Isaac over your family. The guard signaled 5 minutes remaining. I started packing up the food. Henry, wait. She grabbed my hand, her cuffs clanking. The baby. Isaac's baby. I'm carrying his baby. I know. I pulled my hand away. So does his wife. Her face went white. Isaac's not married. Not publicly. But Maria Rodriguez has been his legal wife for 27 years. Lives in Vermont with their 3 children. She's known about his affairs for decades. Part of their arrangement. No, that's impossible. Call her if you don't believe me. I wrote the number on a napkin. She's expecting to hear from you. Has some interesting stories about the others who thought they were special. Claire stared at the number like it was poisonous. Why are you doing this? Because you need to understand something. You weren't in love. You were in a game, and you lost. I loved him, she whispered. You loved the idea of him, the power, the danger, the excitement. But love? Real love is what we had before you destroyed it. Love is Miles. Love is building a life together, not tearing one apart. We can fix this, she said suddenly, desperately. We can try again, for Miles. With another man's baby growing inside you? I could terminate it. The words hung between us like a confession. Even now, she was willing to sacrifice anything, anyone for survival. It wouldn't matter. You killed us, Claire. Every Tuesday afternoon in room 1247, you put another bullet in our marriage. The guard approached. Time was up. Your bail hearing's tomorrow, I said, standing. Isaac won't be there. He's distancing himself from you, on his lawyer's advice. But Anna Wilson will be there, in the gallery, wearing the earrings he bought you for your birthday. How do you know about the earrings? Because I know everything, including what's in the storage unit in Arlington. She froze. What storage unit? The one where you kept your real files, the ones about Operation Honey Trap. I'd been fishing, but her reaction told me I'd hit something real. Her face went from white to gray. How? Your handler, Reed Thompson. He's been very cooperative since the CIA discovered he's been turned by Chinese intelligence. That's impossible. Reed is in custody, has been for 48 hours. He's talking, Claire, about everything, including what really happened 15 years ago. You don't know what you're talking about. Don't I? How's this for knowing? Miles's DNA test came back interesting. Want to know who his real father is? She lunged across the table, cuffs stopping her short. Don't you dare. Tuesday, Claire, your bail hearing. After that, we discuss custody and inheritance. And which secrets get buried and which get published in my book. I walked to the door, stopped, turned back. Oh, and Claire, that fertility clinic you've been going to? They called. Your frozen embryos were destroyed in a power failure last month. Shame. That was your last chance at having Isaac's baby. It was a lie, but she'd never know. The sound of her screaming followed me down the hallway, through security, out into the October night where Sophia waited in her car. How'd it go? She asked. Like salting the earth. Nothing will ever grow there again. She drove in silence for a while, then, you know she'll try to destroy you at the hearing. Let her try. I have everything documented, including this. I pulled out a flash drive. Her confession, recorded tonight. She admitted to the affair, the pregnancy, even offered to terminate it. Is that legal? In a federal facility? With notices posted about recording? Completely legal. Sophia smiled, that dangerous expression I was starting to love. You really are CIA trained. Once a spy, always a spy. I looked at her profile in the passing streetlights. Thank you. For everything. We're not done yet. No, but we're close. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, but I recognized the writing style. Isaac, your wife visited me today before her arrest, very eager to please. I have videos. Think carefully about tomorrow. I showed it to Sophia. She pulled over, took the phone, typed something. What are you doing? Calling his bluff. She hit send. Her response, Anna Wilson, room 892, Watergate Hotel. Tonight at 11. You're already late. 30 seconds later, Isaac called. I let it go to voicemail. Sophia drove me home, where Miles was waiting despite my lie to Claire. He was in the kitchen, doing homework, looking older than any 16-year-old should. "How is she?" he asked. "Broken." "Good." He went back to his calculus. Aunt Sarah called. She said I can stay with her if I want. "Do you want?" "I want to stay with you, if that's okay." "That's more than okay." Sophia made coffee while I helped Miles with his homework. Normal domestic life, except for the federal investigation, the impending divorce, and the fact that my wife was carrying another man's child. Around midnight, Sophia stood to leave. "Stay," I said. "Guest room's made up." She looked at me for a long moment. "Guest room?" "For now." "I can work with for now." As she headed upstairs, Miles looked at me. "You like her?" "Yeah." "Good. You deserve someone who doesn't lie." "We all deserve that." He closed his textbook. "Dad, what happens after the hearing?" "Your mother probably gets bail, restricted movement, monitored communications, then trials, plural, federal, state, maybe civil." "Will she go to prison?" "Yes." "For how long?" 10 to 20 years, maybe more." He nodded, processing. "And the baby?" "Will be born in federal custody. Probably placed in foster care unless Isaac claims paternity." "He won't." "No, he won't." Miles stood, headed for the stairs, then stopped. "I'm glad you're fighting back. Finally." After he went to bed, I sat in my office working on my book. The first 3 chapters were already written, the story of a marriage that was dead long before anyone noticed the corpse. My phone rang. Marcus, my CIA contact. "Your boy Isaac had an accident." "What kind of accident?" "The kind where he falls down some stairs at the federal detention center. Broken ribs, fractured orbital bone, terrible shame." "Is he talking?" "Not anymore. Seems he lost some teeth, too. Makes recording threats difficult." "Thanks, Marcus." "Henry, there's something else. About your wife's handler, Reed Thompson." "What about him?" "He's not in custody. Never was. He's disappeared." My blood went cold. "When?" 3 days ago, right before your wife's arrest. Be careful. He might be cleaning up loose ends." "Claire's a loose end?" "You all are. Whatever operation this was, it's gone sideways. People are going to start disappearing." I hung up, checked the locks, the security system. Sophia appeared on the stairs, having heard everything. "We need to move," she said. "Tonight." "Where?" "I have a safe house. Get Miles." As we packed, I thought about Claire in her cell, thinking she understood the game she'd been playing. She had no idea. None of us did. But we were about to learn. Chapter 8. The safe house was a farmhouse in rural Virginia, 40 miles from nowhere and perfect for disappearing. Sophia had bought it years ago under an alias, she said, for situations like this. I didn't ask what other situations she'd been in. Some secrets were better left buried. Claire's bail hearing was in 3 hours. I sat at the kitchen table watching the news coverage on my laptop while Miles slept upstairs. The media was calling it the Beltway betrayal, complete with graphics of Claire's mugshot next to Isaac's. "You're not going to the hearing," Sophia said, pouring coffee. "I have to. She needs to see me there. She needs to not get you killed. Reed Thompson is still out there." My phone rang. Claire's lawyer. "Mr. Davis? Your wife wants to meet before the hearing. She says she has information about your son." Miles. The DNA test I'd lied about. But what if it wasn't a lie? "Where?" "Federal Detention Center. 1 hour." Sophia drove, her hand on her concealed carry, eyes checking mirrors constantly. The detention center was surrounded by media vans, reporters doing stand-ups with the gray building as backdrop. Claire was in a different room this time, smaller, no windows. She looked better someone had done her hair and makeup for the hearing, playing the part of the wronged wife, probably. "You came," she said. "You mentioned Miles." She smiled, but it was fractured, dangerous. 15 years ago, I was recruited for an operation. Deep cover, long-term placement. The target was a CIA analyst who'd been flagged as potentially vulnerable. Me. You. The plan was simple: seduce you, marry you, gain access to your work. But there was a complication. Miles. I was already pregnant when we met, my handler's baby, Reed Thompson's. The room tilted. Everything I thought I knew rearranged itself. You're lying. Am I? Think about it, Henry. The timeline. We met in December, married in March. Miles was born in August. You always joked about him being premature, but he was a full 9 pounds. The doctors said what I paid them to say. Just like the DNA test you ran last year showed what I wanted it to show. I never ran a DNA test. The hair sample you sent to that lab in Maryland? I intercepted it, sent my own sample instead. But the real results are in that storage unit you mentioned, Unit 447, along with everything else. Why are you telling me this? Because I want you to understand something. This was never about love. It was about the job. Until Isaac. You fell for your mark. I fell for the fantasy, the power, the passion. Everything you said was right. I was played. She leaned forward. But so were you, for 15 years. And now? Now I tell the FBI everything. About Reed, about the operation, about who Miles really is. Unless. Unless what? You help me disappear. I laughed. Actually laughed. You're facing treason charges and you want me to help you run? I'm offering you a trade. Your son's peace of mind for my freedom. Do you really want Miles to know his whole life is a lie? That his real father is a Chinese double agent who's probably going to kill us all? He's stronger than you think. Is he? Strong enough to know his mother was whoring herself for state secrets before he was even born? The door opened. A federal marshal entered with someone I didn't expect, Reed Thompson himself, wearing an FBI badge. "Hello, Claire," he said. "Henry!" Sophia's warning echoed in my head. He wasn't in custody. He'd never been in custody. "Reed," Claire breathed. "You're supposed to be arrested? No, that was disinformation. I've been running this operation from the beginning, including your arrest." "I don't understand." Reed sat down, his movements casual but controlled. "You went off script, Claire. Falling for Isaac wasn't part of the plan. Neither was trying to have his baby. I can explain. No need. It's over. The operation, your cover, everything. The FBI thinks you're a traitor, which you are, just not to America, to China, and China doesn't tolerate failure." Claire's face went white. "You're going to kill me. Eventually. But first, you're going to help us clean up this mess. Starting with your husband." I stood. "I'm leaving." "No, you're not." Reed pulled out a gun, placed it on the table. "Sit down, Henry. We need to discuss your book." "What book?" "The one you've been writing. The expose about your wife's affair. Except you got the story wrong. This isn't about infidelity. It's about national security. The FBI knows everything. The FBI knows what we want them to know. But your book, if published, could complicate things. So you're going to kill it." "No." Reed smiled. "I thought you might say that." He pulled out his phone, showed me a video. Miles at school, taken this morning with a telephoto lens. Accidents happen to teenagers all the time. Car crashes, drug overdoses, random violence. "You son of a bitch." "I'm a professional. There's a difference." He turned to Claire. "Tell him about Operation Red Sparrow." Claire was crying now, silently, mascara running in black rivers. "It's a long-term infiltration program. Dozens of agents placed in marriages with intelligence assets, government officials, military personnel. I was just one of many." "How many?" 47 active in D.C. alone." Jesus, the scope of it was staggering. "Your wife was one of our best," Reed continued, "until she caught feelings. First for you, which we managed, then for Isaac, which destroyed everything." "I never had feelings for Henry," Claire protested. "No? Then why did you sabotage 3 extraction attempts? Why did you refuse reassignment in 2019? Why did you cry for a week when he forgot your anniversary?" Claire said nothing, but her silence was admission enough. Reed stood. "Here's what's going to happen. Claire gets bail today. House arrest, ankle monitor, the whole show. She continues to cooperate with the FBI, feeding them what we want them to know. Henry kills his book, goes back to his journalism, forgets this ever happened. and Miles stays safe. And if we refuse? I asked. Then you both die in a murder-suicide. Jealous husband kills unfaithful wife, then himself. Miles goes into foster care, where accidents are even easier to arrange. The marshal knocked. 5 minutes to transport. Reed pocketed his gun. Claire, your lawyer has your script for the hearing. Stick to it. Henry, go home. Kiss your son. Be grateful you get to keep breathing. He left. Claire and I sat in silence for a moment. Did you ever love me? I asked. Even a little? She looked at me, and for the first time in months, I saw the woman I'd married. I loved who you were when you didn't know who I was. Does that count? I don't know. Henry, about Miles. Is he really Reed's? I don't know. I slept with both of you that month. I've never tested it because I was afraid of the answer. Which answer scared you more? She stood as the marshal returned. Both. Either he's the son of a monster, or he's the son of the only good man I've ever known, and I destroyed his life anyway. They led her away in shackles. I sat there for another minute, processing. Then I called Sophia. Reed was here, I said. I know. I'm watching him leave. Henry, we have a problem. Bigger than Chinese intelligence threatening to kill my family? He's not Chinese intelligence. I just ran his face through facial recognition. Reed Thompson died in 2003. Whoever that is, he's wearing someone else's identity. Then who is he? That's what we need to find out before he decides we're too much trouble to keep alive. The bail hearing was a circus. Claire played her part perfectly, the manipulated wife, coerced by a powerful man, desperate to make amends. The judge granted bail with extensive restrictions. $2 million, house arrest, ankle monitor, no contact with co-conspirators. Isaac wasn't there, still in the hospital, according to the news. Anna Wilson was, though, front row, wearing the earrings Claire had mentioned, the ones Isaac had bought for Claire's birthday. The cruelty was almost artistic. Outside the courthouse, Claire's sister posted bail. Claire walked out in the clothes she'd been arrested in, looking small and defeated. She saw me in the crowd, started to approach, but her lawyer stopped her. No contact with witnesses. That night, Sophia and I went through everything we had on Reed Thompson. Financial records, travel patterns, communication intercepts. The picture that emerged was terrifying. He's not working for any government, Sophia concluded. This is private sector, corporate espionage on a massive scale. Using honey traps to steal intelligence and sell it to the highest bidder? Exactly. And your wife was one of his assets. Until she went rogue. Until she fell in love. Twice. Miles came downstairs, rubbing his eyes. Can't sleep. Too much noise in my head. Want to talk about it? He sat down, looked at our research spread across the table. Is Mom going to prison? Probably. For how long? Years. He nodded, processing. Is she really a spy? No point in lying now. Yes. Was any of it real? Our family? I thought about Claire's answer, about loving who I was when I didn't know who she was. Parts of it, maybe. That's not enough. No, it's not. He picked up a photo of Reed Thompson. Who's this? Someone claiming to be your mother's handler. Claiming? It's complicated. Miles studied the photo, then froze. I know him. What? He came to school last month, career day, said he was with the State Department. Sophia and I exchanged looks. Reed had been scouting Miles. What did he talk to you about? College plans. Said I had potential for intelligence work. Gave me his card. Do you still have it? Miles pulled out his wallet, extracted a business card. Reed Thompson, State Department, Cultural Affairs Division. But the phone number. This is a Chinese intelligence front number, Sophia said. I've seen it before. The pieces clicked together. Reed wasn't recruiting Miles for China or America. He was recruiting him for his own private network. The son of 2 intelligence assets, trained from birth in deception, the perfect operative. Pack your things, I told Miles. We're leaving tonight. Where? Somewhere Reed Thompson can't find us. As we packed, my phone rang. Claire. Don't run, she said immediately. He'll find you. He always does. Then what? Fight back. You were CIA, Henry. Remember your training. My training didn't cover this. No, but mine did. She took a breath. Unit 447. Arlington storage. Everything's there. Everything you need to destroy him. Why help me now? Because despite everything, you're still Miles's father, the only real parent he's ever had. And because... She paused. Because I owe you the truth, even if it comes too late. Claire. I have to go. They're monitoring my calls, but Henry, I did love you in my own broken way. That's the only truth I have left to give. She hung up. I looked at Sophia, at Miles. Arlington storage, I said. Unit 447. It's a trap, Sophia warned. Maybe, but it's also our only lead. Then we go together, Miles said. Family. I looked at my son, maybe not biological, but mine in every way that mattered. Then at Sophia, who'd risked everything to help us. Family, I agreed. Whatever was in that storage unit, whatever Claire had hidden, we'd face it together. Reed Thompson had made one crucial mistake. He'd threatened my son, and for that, I'd salt the earth with his ashes. Chapter 9. The storage unit was a tomb of secrets. Bankers' boxes lined the walls, each labeled with dates and operations I'd never heard of. Honey Trap, Blackbird, Romeo's Folly. 15 years of Claire's double life, archived with the methodical precision I'd once loved about her. Jesus, Sophia whispered, pulling out a file. These are congressional members, dozens of them. Miles stood frozen by a box marked with his birth date. Inside were medical records, DNA tests, surveillance photos of a pregnant Claire with a man who might have been Reed Thompson, or might have been me, the angle making it impossible to tell. Don't, I said, moving the box away from him. Not yet. I need to know. You need to survive first. Truth comes later. Sophia found what we were looking for in a climate-controlled container. Hard drives, encrypted but accessible with the password Claire had texted me. Miles and Henry forever. Even in her deception, sentiment leaked through. The files were damning. Not just evidence of Reed's network, but financial records showing payments from corporations, foreign governments, terrorist organizations. He wasn't just running honey traps, he was selling America's secrets to anyone with 8 figures to spend. This is enough to bury him, Sophia said. Or get us buried, I countered. We need leverage, not just evidence. Then I found it. A folder marked Insurance, containing photos that made my blood freeze. Reed Thompson with various CIA directors, NSA officials, even a Supreme Court justice. But more importantly, Reed with his real handlers, a consortium of tech billionaires who'd been using his network to manipulate markets, elections, reality itself. Holy shit, Miles said, looking over my shoulder. Is that, yeah. The face in the photo was unmistakable. America's richest man, the one everyone thought was humanity's savior, paying Reed Thompson $50 million in cryptocurrency. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Henry. Reed's voice, calm as always. I assume you found the storage unit. How? Your wife isn't as clever as she thinks. We've been monitoring it for years. Then you know what I have. I know you have copies. The originals are already being destroyed as we speak. Through the window, I saw smoke. The adjacent unit was on fire, flames spreading fast. Get out! I yelled, grabbing the hard drives. We ran as the fire spread, designed to look accidental but clearly targeted. By the time we reached the car, 3 units were ablaze, including 447. Everything Claire had gathered, gone, except for what we'd taken. Drive, I told Sophia. Reed's cleaning house. She peeled out as fire trucks arrived, sirens wailing. In the rearview mirror, I saw a black SUV following us. Company, Sophia said, accelerating. Dad? Miles's voice was steady, but I heard the fear underneath. It's okay. Sophia knows what she's doing. She proved it, taking turns that shouldn't have been possible, using the city's geography like a weapon. We lost the SUV in Georgetown, ditching our car for another Sophia had stashed weeks ago. Always prepared. My beautiful, paranoid savior. We holed up in a motel outside Baltimore, paying cash, fake names. While Miles showered, trying to wash off the smoke and fear, Sophia and I reviewed what we'd saved. This is enough to destroy Reed's network, she said. But we need to get it to someone who can't be bought. Everyone can be bought. Not everyone. She pulled up a contact on her phone. Remember Jessica Martinez from the Post? The one who broke the Pentagon Papers story? She's 70 years old. 72 and completely incorruptible, also dying of cancer, so she's got nothing to lose. You want to give this to a dying reporter? I want to give it to someone who'll publish it regardless of pressure. Jessica's already drafting her final story. This could be it. Before I could respond, the motel room door exploded inward. 3 men in tactical gear rushed in, weapons drawn, but not at us, at each other. Federal agents, drop your weapons! CIA, stand down! Nobody move! In the chaos, I saw Reed Thompson walk in, casual as if entering a dinner party. Gentlemen, he said calmly, you're all on the same side. Stand down. The weapons lowered slowly, confusion replacing aggression. Mr. Davis, Reed continued, you've created quite a situation. FBI, CIA, and NSA all converging on one motel room. Impressive. We have evidence. You have nothing. The drives you took were wiped by remote electromagnetic pulse the moment you left the storage facility. Check them. Sophia opened her laptop, connected a drive. Blank. All of them. Blank. Reed smiled. Technology is wonderful, isn't it? But I'm not here to gloat. I'm here to make a deal. No deals. Even for your son's life? He pulled out a tablet, showed a live feed. Claire in her house arrest, with a man holding a gun to her head. One word from me, and Miles becomes an orphan. Mom! Miles stepped forward, but I held him back. She's not your concern anymore, Reed told him, but she could be dead in 30 seconds if your father doesn't cooperate. What do you want? Simple. You forget everything. Go back to your journalism, write your little stories. Claire serves her time quietly, takes the fall for Isaac's crimes. Miles grows up normal, goes to college, lives a boring life. Everyone wins. Except the people you're selling secrets to. Those secrets would be sold regardless. If not by me, then by someone else. At least I'm American, technically. You're a traitor. I'm a businessman. And right now, I'm offering you a deal. Your family's safety for your silence. I looked at Miles, at Sophia, at the federal agents standing awkwardly around us, then at the tablet, where Claire waited to die. Counteroffer, I said. You disappear. Tonight. Forever. Leave the country. Never come back. In exchange, I don't publish the book I've already written, documenting everything, including your real identity. Reed's smile faltered. You don't know my real identity. Lieutenant Colonel Marcus Webb, reported KIA in Iraq 2003. Recruited by private intelligence firms, underwent facial reconstruction surgery, became Reed Thompson. Your mother still thinks you're dead, lives in Orlando, volunteers at the Veterans Hospital. Would break her heart to know what you've become. I was bluffing, piecing together fragments from the files, but his face told me I'd hit close enough to the truth. You're guessing. Am I? Should we call your mother? I have her number. Still the same landline she's had for 30 years. Reed was quiet for a long moment. On the tablet, the man with the gun looked confused, waiting for orders. Stalemate, Reed finally said. Mutual assured destruction, I corrected. You have the power to kill us, but we have the power to destroy your myth. And myths are all that keep men like you alive. The evidence is gone. The digital evidence. But Claire kept hard copies, hidden in places you'd never think to look. Safety deposit boxes under aliases you don't know about. Dead drops in cities you've never been to. A paranoid woman's paranoid backup plan. Another bluff, but Claire was smart enough that it could be true. Reed studied me, calculating. You're lying. Maybe. Want to risk it? The federal agents were getting restless, hands moving to weapons again. Reed noticed, made a decision. 24 hours, he said. You have 24 hours to convince me not to kill everyone you love. He walked out, leaving the chaos behind. The federal agents looked at each other, then at us, then followed him out without a word. Whatever jurisdiction applied here, Reed Thompson transcended it. When they were gone, Sophia locked the door, put a chair against it. We're dead. Not yet. I pulled out my real phone, the one I'd hidden in the motel bathroom earlier. I recorded everything, audio and video. How? They would have detected old school. Analog recorder, no wireless signals. CIA training from before everything went digital. Miles stared at me. You knew this would happen? I suspected. Reed's too smart to let us keep digital evidence, but he's also arrogant enough to monologue when he thinks he's won. So what now? Now we upload this everywhere. WikiLeaks, every major newspaper, social media, make it impossible to suppress. He'll kill Mom. I looked at my son, saw Claire's eyes in his face. Your mother knew the risks when she gave us that storage unit. She made her choice. To save us. To save you. There's a difference. Sophia was already uploading, using techniques from her NSA days to ensure the files would propagate across the internet like a virus. Within an hour, Reed Thompson's real face would be on every screen in America. My phone rang. Claire. You did it, she said. I can see the news alerts starting. Are you safe? For now. My security detail is very confused but professional. Henry, there's something else. In the files, did you find anything about Project Gemini? No, the line went dead. I tried calling back but got nothing. News is breaking, Sophia announced, showing her laptop. FBI announces arrest of private intelligence network. Reed Thompson's photo was on every channel, along with dozens of others. The network was being rolled up in real time, agents arresting agents, a snake eating its own tail. We won? Miles asked. We survived, I corrected. That's different from winning. 3 hours later, Isaac Rodriguez was found dead in his cell. Official cause was suicide, but the security footage was mysteriously corrupted. Reed Thompson's body was discovered in a burned car in West Virginia, dental records confirming identity, though something felt wrong about how quickly that confirmation came. Claire was moved to protective custody after 3 attempts on her life in 12 hours. Her handler, the real FBI one, told me she'd be testifying in closed sessions for months, maybe years. The book deal came through the next day. 7 figures, as promised, though the story had changed. It wasn't about infidelity anymore. It was about the price of truth in a world built on lies. Miles and I moved to a small town in Colorado, somewhere Reed's network had never reached. Sophia came with us, first as security, then as something more. Not quite family yet, but getting there. 6 months later, I got a postcard. No return address, postmarked from Switzerland. A photo of the Alps, and on the back, in Claire's handwriting. The baby was born healthy, a girl. Named her Hope. Seemed appropriate. Take care of our son. See. Our son. Despite everything, maybe because of everything, Miles was ours. The product of a lie that became a truth, a deception that became real. I burned the postcard, watched the smoke rise into the mountain air. Somewhere, Claire was raising another man's child, paying for her crimes in exile rather than prison. Somewhere, Reed Thompson might still be alive, plotting revenge or just counting his money. But here, in this small town where nobody knew our real names, we were free. Miles was enrolled in school as Miles Anderson. Taking Sophia's last name felt like a fresh start. He was seeing a therapist, working through trauma that no teenager should carry. Do you think she loved us? He asked one night, looking at stars invisible in DC's light pollution. I think she loved the idea of us. And maybe sometimes that was enough. Was it enough for you? I thought about Claire, about our marriage, about the tissue of lies that had somehow produced this remarkable young man. No, I said. But you are. You were always enough. He nodded, satisfied or at least accepting. We watched the stars in silence. 2 survivors of a war we'd never chosen, winners of a game we'd never wanted to play. Inside, Sophia was making dinner, humming something I didn't recognize. Normal sounds in an abnormal life. But normal was relative, I'd learned. And relatively speaking, we were doing just fine. The mutual assured destruction had worked. We'd all destroyed each other just enough to survive. And in the intelligence world, that counted as a happy ending. Chapter 10. 2 years. That's how long we'd been in Colorado pretending the past was dead. I stood at the window of our cabin, watching snow fall on the Rockies when the email arrived. No sender name, just a video attachment and 3 words. She needs you. The video was grainy, security footage from what looked like a Swiss hospital. Claire, thinner than I'd ever seen her, being wheeled into emergency surgery. The timestamp was 3 days ago. What is it? Sophia asked from the doorway, coffee in hand, wearing one of my old CIA training shirts. We'd been married 6 months, a quiet ceremony with just Miles and her sister as witnesses. I showed her the email. Her face hardened the expression that reminded me she'd been NSA, trained to see threats everywhere. "It's a trap," she said immediately. "Probably. You're going anyway." She's still Miles's mother. Miles has been in therapy for 2 years learning she's not his responsibility. She was right. Our son, I'd legally adopted him after Claire signed away her rights from Switzerland, had finally started healing. He was 18 now, heading to MIT in the fall, brilliant and damaged but learning to be whole. "Dad?" Miles stood in the doorway, having heard everything. He'd grown 6 inches in 2 years, looking more like me than ever, which was ironic considering the biological uncertainty. "Is Mom okay?" "I don't know." He walked over, looked at the video. "That's not a Swiss hospital. Look at the signage. That's Cyrillic." Russian. Of course. My phone rang. Unknown international number. "Hello, Henry." The voice made my blood freeze. Reed Thompson. Very much not dead. "You son of a bitch." Such language. And here I thought we were old friends. "What did you do to Claire?" "Nothing she didn't volunteer for. But she's gotten herself into trouble. Again. Seems she can't help falling for dangerous men." "Where is she?" "Moscow." "Private medical facility?" "She's been working for the Russians for 18 months. Didn't you get her postcard?" I thought about the postcard from Switzerland, the one about hope being born. All lies, apparently. "What do you want, Reed?" "Simple. Your book killed my American network, but my Russian connections are thriving. Claire's been very useful, using her old FBI credentials to recruit assets. But she got greedy. Tried to blackmail the wrong oligarch. Now she's dying, and her daughter needs a father. Hope isn't my... No, but she's Miles's sister. Half-sister, technically. My daughter, if we're being precise." Sophia grabbed the phone. "If you come near this family, Mrs. Davis, or should I say Mrs. Anderson, your marriage isn't exactly legal given Henry's still technically married to Claire. Claire signed divorce papers. Forged. She's been quite busy in Moscow. Never signed anything. Which means your marriage is bigamy, and Miles's adoption is invalid." I took the phone back. "What do you want?" "A trade. You come to Moscow, sign some papers absolving certain parties of certain allegations, and I'll ensure Claire gets the medical care she needs. You refuse, she dies, and her daughter ends up in the Russian foster system. I need proof she's actually sick." My laptop chimed. New email, medical records in Russian. But the scans were clear massive internal bleeding, organ failure. Whatever had happened to Claire, she was dying. 48 hours, Reed said. "Moscow, come alone or don't come at all." He hung up. Miles was already on his laptop, typing furiously. "I can track the call, maybe find—" "No!" I put my hand on his shoulder. "This isn't your fight. She's my mother. She was your mother. Now she's just someone who needs help. So you're going?" I looked at Sophia, saw the resignation in her eyes. She knew me too well. "I have to." "Then I'm coming with you," she said. Reed said alone. "Reed's a liar and a killer. You need backup." "I'll go too," Miles said. "Absolutely not. Dad, I'm 18. I'm not a kid anymore, and I deserve to know the truth about where I came from." The truth. After 2 years of carefully constructed lies to protect him, maybe he was right. "We all go," Sophia said, "but we do it smart. I still have contacts in Moscow from my NSA days." 24 hours later, we were on a plane to Moscow via Frankfurt, traveling on passports Sophia had somehow procured. Miles sat between us, reading everything he could find on Reed Thompson, or whoever he really was. "Found something," he said, showing me his tablet. "Reed Thompson's mother, the one in Orlando you mentioned, she died 3 years ago, but her obituary mentions a son, Marcus Webb, who supposedly died in Iraq. We knew that. But look at this." He pulled up another document. "Marcus Webb had a twin brother, David Webb, also supposedly KIA in Iraq, same day. Twins. Jesus. Reed's not one person," Sophia said, understanding immediately. "It's 2 people, taking turns being Reed Thompson." That explained how he could appear to be in two places at once, how he'd survived the car fire. One twin died, the other continued the operation. Moscow was frozen, -20 and getting colder. Our contact, one of Sophia's old assets, met us at a hotel in the Arbat district. "The woman you seek is at the Volkov clinic," he said in accented English. "Private facility, very exclusive, but there are complications." "What kind?" "She is not patient. She is prisoner. The oligarch she tried to blackmail, Viktor Volkov, he owns the clinic. She is being kept alive for leverage." "Leverage against who?" "Against you, Mr. Davis. Your book destroyed many operations. People want revenge." The trap was worse than I'd thought. This wasn't about Reed or Claire or even Hope. This was about everyone I'd exposed coming for payback. "Where's the child?" Sophia asked. "Hope?" "With the woman. Volkov keeps them together. More effective that way." That night, we planned. Sophia's contacts provided building schematics, guard rotations, medical staff schedules. It was like being back in the CIA, except this time I wasn't trying to steal secrets. I was trying to steal back what was left of my family. "You know this is exactly what they want," Sophia said as we studied the plans. "You walking into their trap." "I know. And you're going anyway." "She's Miles' mother. Whatever she became, she gave us him." That means something. Miles was quiet, studying photos of the clinic. Then he pointed to something. "There. That's not a medical device. That's a bomb." He was right. The oxygen tanks in the basement were rigged with enough explosives to level the building. "They're going to kill everyone," Sophia breathed. "Make it look like an accident. After they get what they want from me. So what do we do?" I looked at my family, the one I'd chosen, not the one I'd been trapped in. "We flip the script. Reed expects me to come alone, play the hero. Instead, we give him what he doesn't expect. Which is? The truth." The next morning, I called Reed. "I'm here. Where do I go?" "Volkov Clinic. 1 hour. Alone." "I'll be there." But I wasn't alone. Sophia was already in position, having infiltrated the staff as a nurse. Miles was in the building's electrical system, ready to kill power on my signal. The clinic was all white marble and chrome, looking more like a luxury hotel than a medical facility. Reed was waiting in the lobby, except now I knew it wasn't Reed. It was David Webb, playing his dead brother's role. "Henry, you came. Where's Claire?" "Room 447. Poetic, don't you think? Same as her storage unit." He led me through sterile hallways to a private room. Claire was there, unconscious, machines keeping her alive. Beside her bed, a crib with a 2-year-old girl. Hope. She had Claire's eyes, but Reed's Marcus's jawline. "What happened to her?" "Poison. Polonium, specifically. Victor's signature. She'll be dead in days without treatment." "And you can provide treatment?" "I can provide mercy. Quick death instead of slow agony." "That's not why you brought me here." "No." He pulled out documents. "Sign these. Affidavit stating your book was fiction, that the network never existed, that everyone you named was innocent." "And if I refuse?" "Then Claire dies slowly, Hope disappears into the system, and Miles. Well, accidents happen at MIT." "You threaten my son again, and you'll what? You're alone in a foreign country surrounded by people who want you dead." That's when the lights went out. In the darkness, I heard Sophia's voice. "He's not alone." Emergency lighting kicked in, casting everything in red. Sophia stood in the doorway, weapon drawn, but she wasn't aiming at Reed. She was aiming at Claire. "Sophia, what? She's not dying, Henry. It's makeup, special effects. She's been conscious this whole time." Claire's eyes opened. She sat up, the dying woman act dropping instantly. "Hello, Henry," she said. Surprise. Chapter 11. The red emergency lights made everyone look like demons, which seemed appropriate given the circumstances. Claire swung her legs off the bed, pulling fake IV lines from her arms. 2 years in Russia had changed her harder edges, colder eyes. She looked like what she'd always been underneath. A predator. "You always were too sentimental," she said, picking up Hope from the crib. The child clung to her, clearly bonded despite everything. I knew you'd come if you thought I was dying. This was all a performance? Everything's a performance, Henry. I thought you'd learned that by now. Reed David Webb laughed. You should see your face. The betrayed husband betrayed again. It's almost poetic. Why? I asked Claire. You were free, in Switzerland with your daughter. Why come back to this? Switzerland was Reed's fiction, Henry. A postcard to keep you complacent. I've been in Moscow since the day I left federal custody. You escaped? I was released, traded. The Russians wanted me back and certain American officials wanted me gone. Win-win. Sophia kept her weapon trained on Claire. Where's Miles? Safe, I said, though I was watching the exits. Claire, whatever this is, Hope doesn't deserve to be part of it. Hope is the point. Claire shifted the child to her hip. Do you know what Phoenix Protocol is, Henry? No. Children of intelligence assets raised from birth to be perfect spies. No identity, no country, infinite possibility. Hope is Generation 2. Miles was Generation 1. The room tilted. Miles was never part of the program? No. I went rogue when I fell in love with you. Stupid, but real. I thought we could have a normal life. But normal was never an option for people like us. People like us? Broken people. Weapons pretending to be human. She looked at Sophia. She knows. NSA trains the humanity out of you, just like the CIA. We're all just tools, Henry. The only difference is some of us admit it. I'm not a tool anymore. No? Then why are you here? Why did you come running when you thought I needed you? She stepped closer. Because despite everything, part of you still loves me. The broken part recognizes its match. You're wrong. Am I? Then shoot me. She spread her arms, still holding Hope. Sophia has a clear shot. Tell her to take it. Save yourself. Save Miles. End this. I couldn't. Even knowing it was manipulation, I couldn't give that order. That's what I thought. Claire smiled, cold and beautiful. You want to know the real truth, Henry? About Miles? Claire, don't. He's yours. Biologically, completely yours. I lied about Reed being his father because I needed you to doubt, to hurt, but he's yours. You're lying. DNA test is in your jacket pocket. David put it there while you were distracted. Check for yourself. I pulled out the paper, saw the results. 99.9% probability of paternity. Congratulations, Claire said. You're the father of an extraordinary young man, one who's currently hacking into Viktor Volkov's private servers. My blood went cold. Miles isn't. He's exactly where he's supposed to be. Did you really think an 18-year-old could hack Russian electrical systems without being detected? He was allowed in, Henry. Guided. He's downloading everything: financial records, assassination lists, compromised officials worldwide. Why? Because that information is worth billions to the right buyers. And Miles, brilliant Miles, is the perfect hacker to take the blame when Volkov discovers the theft. I moved toward the door, but David blocked me. He's fine for now, but in about 10 minutes, Volkov's security will trace the hack to his location. Where is he? The hotel, your room, where you thoughtfully left him alone with a laptop. Sophia spoke for the first time in minutes. This is all about framing us. Not framing, recruiting. Claire set Hope down, who toddled to a corner to play with toys that had been strategically placed. Phoenix Protocol isn't just about creating spies. It's about creating dynasties, families bound by secrets, raised in deception, loyal only to each other. We'll never work for you. You already are. Miles's hack will implicate him in international espionage. Sophia killed 3 men getting into this building, yes, we know about that. And you, Henry, entered Russia on false papers to conduct an illegal operation. You're all compromised. So what? We run, we hide, from every intelligence agency in the world? With what money? Your accounts were frozen an hour ago. Patriot Act provisions, suspected terrorism financing. The trap was perfect. Every move we'd made had tightened the noose. What do you want? I asked. I want our family back, Claire said. Twisted as it is, we work together or we hang separately. The family you destroyed? The family that was always destined to be destroyed. We're not normal people, Henry. We're weapons. The question is whether we point ourselves at the world or at each other. An explosion rocked the building. Not the bombs in the basement, something else. David checked his phone, frowned. That wasn't supposed to happen yet. Another explosion, closer. The lights went out completely, even the emergency lighting. In the darkness, I heard Sophia whisper, "Miles didn't go to the hotel." A new voice in the darkness, young and determined. "No, I didn't." Miles, with night vision goggles and a tactical vest, looking like the child soldier his mother had tried to make him. "I found the real bombs," he said. "The ones they didn't want you to see. This whole building is rigged to blow in 5 minutes." "That's impossible," David said. "The bombs are on my trigger. We're on your trigger. I rerouted them. Now they're on a timer only I can stop." Claire laughed, actually laughed. "That's my boy." "I'm not your anything," Miles said coldly. "You're going to let us leave, all of us, or everyone dies." "You're bluffing," David said. "You wouldn't kill innocents." "There are no innocents in this building. I checked. Every patient is either criminal or complicit. But there are 300 people in the apartment building next door. They die if I don't stop this timer." "Miles," I said, "you don't have to do this." "Yes, I do. I'm tired of being everyone's pawn, tired of the lies and manipulation." He looked at Claire. "Tired of you. I'm your mother." "No, you're just the woman who gave birth to me. There's a difference." He pulled out a phone, showed the timer, 3:47 and counting. "Here's what happens," Miles said. "We walk out, all of us. You don't follow, don't contact us, don't exist in our lives anymore. In exchange, I stop the bombs and we forget this happened." "And if we refuse?" Claire asked. "Then we all die together, one big, unhappy family." I saw it in Claire's eyes pride. Her son had become everything she'd trained him to be, even without her presence. "Deal," she said. "Claire!" David protested. "Shut up. He's not bluffing. I can see it in his eyes. My eyes." Miles backed toward the door, keeping the phone visible. "Dad, Sophia, let's go." We moved to leave, but Claire called out, "Henry!" I turned. "For what it's worth," she said, "the best parts of our marriage were real. Before the lies took over, we were happy." "We were never happy, Claire. We were just better at pretending then." "Maybe, but the pretending felt real sometimes." I looked at her one last time, the woman I'd loved, the mother of my child, the architect of so much destruction. "Goodbye, Claire. Take care of our son." "I always have." We left them there in the red-lit room with a timer counting down. Miles stopped it at 0:17, but only after we were clear of the building. In the car, driving toward the airport, Miles finally broke down. 18 years old, having just faced down his mother and won, the adrenaline crash hit hard. He sobbed in the back seat while Sophia drove and I held his shoulder. "I'm sorry," he kept saying. "I'm sorry." For what? For being like her, for being able to do that. "You're not like her," I said. "You used her skills to protect people, not destroy them. That's the difference." Is it enough of a difference? It has to be. We made it to the airport, but our passports were flagged. Of course they were. "Now what?" Sophia asked. I pulled out a phone I'd kept for emergencies, dialed a number I hadn't used in 5 years. "Marcus, it's Henry. I need an extraction. Yes, Moscow. 3 packages." My old CIA handler sighed. "You know this makes you active again, right? You come back, you work for us." "For how long?" 5 years. Take it or leave it." I looked at my family. Sophia nodded. Miles was still shaking but managed to nod too. "Deal. Airport Terminal 2, bathroom by Gate 47, 1 hour." The extraction was smooth, professional. New identities, diplomatic pouches, a military flight to Germany, then home, but not to Colorado. That life was burned. Instead, we went to Virginia, Langley, back to where it all started. "Welcome back to the CIA, Henry," Marcus said. "Your family will be protected, new identities, the works. But you work for us now." "I know. Your son, too. His skills are too valuable to waste. He's 18, and he just outsmarted Russian intelligence. We need him." I was about to protest when Miles spoke. "I'll do it, but only if we work together, as a family." Marcus smiled. "That can be arranged. Project Prometheus. Families with unique skills working together. You'd be the first." I looked at Sophia, at Miles. We'd come so far from that hotel room where I'd first discovered Claire's betrayal. We'd been broken, reformed, broken again. But we were still standing. "We're in," I said. Chapter 12. 5 years later, the secure video link flickered to life at exactly midnight. I wasn't surprised to see Claire's face. We'd been doing this dance for 3 years now. "Hello, Henry." "Claire?" She looked older, harder. Russia had carved away whatever softness remained. Behind her, I could see a typical Moscow apartment, expensive but cold. "How's our son?" she asked. "Graduating next week. PhD in computer science, minor in international relations." "From MIT?" "From nowhere. His records are classified now." She smiled, proud despite everything. "And your wife?" "Sophia's good, running her own division at the agency. The family that spies together, survives together." It was our monthly check-in, unofficial but necessary. After Moscow, we'd reached an understanding. She fed us intelligence on Russian operations. We kept her name out of certain reports. Mutual benefit, like everything in our world. "Hope asks about him," she said suddenly. "Her brother. He knows she exists." "Does he hate her?" "He nothing her. She's abstract, theoretical. A stranger who shares his DNA. That's probably best." Claire shifted, and I caught sight of a man's jacket on her couch. "I should go." "New handler?" "New husband, actually. Dmitry Volkov, Victor's son." "You married into the family that tried to kill you?" "I married into power. It's what I do." She paused. "He knows about you, about us. It excites him, having something that was yours. He can have it." "Can he?" "Because you still take these calls, Henry. Every month for 3 years. Intelligence value." "Is that what you tell yourself?" The connection wavered, static interrupting. When it cleared, she was leaning closer to the camera. "I have information," she said. "Phoenix Protocol. It never ended." Claire. "There are 12 families now, all like us. Parents in intelligence, children raised in the life. You started something in Moscow, Henry. Prometheus isn't containing it, it's accelerating it." "That's not possible." "Check your files. The Anderson family in Norway, the Chens in Singapore, the Garcias in Mexico City, all recruited in the last 2 years, all with children Miles's age." My secure phone buzzed. Sophia, texting from the next room. "She's right, just found the files." "Why are you telling me this?" I asked Claire. "Because they're planning something. A convergence. All 12 families, meeting next month. Location classified, but I can find out." "What do you want?" "To see my son, one time." "Let me see him graduate." "Absolutely not." "Then enjoy the surprise when 12 sleeper families activate simultaneously." She disconnected. I sat in the dark office, processing. Then Miles knocked and entered without waiting for permission, a habit from childhood. "I was listening," he said. "The whole conversation." "Miles, we should let her come." I stared at my son. 23 years old, brilliant, damaged, beautiful in his complexity. He looked more like Claire every year, but his soul was his own. "Why?" "Because I need to see her, to know I made the right choice." "You did. I need to know for myself." 3 days later, I filed the request with Marcus. He approved it immediately, too quickly. "You knew," I accused. "We've known about Phoenix Protocol for a year. We need inside intelligence. Claire's our best asset." "You're using my son's graduation as an intelligence operation?" "We're using an opportunity. She'll be watched, controlled. One day, then she goes back. And if she tries something? Then Sophia kills her. Those are her orders." The graduation was held at Quantico, closed ceremony, families of deep cover operatives only. Miles stood at the podium, delivering the valedictorian speech to an audience that collectively had more blood on their hands than a small war. Claire sat in the back, under guard but present. She looked like any proud mother, tears in her eyes as Miles spoke about service, sacrifice, and the price of truth. "We are the beautiful damage," he said, looking directly at her. "Broken by design, reformed by necessity. We are the weapons that choose their own targets. We are the lies that reveal truth." After the ceremony, they had 5 minutes, supervised, recorded, but private enough. "You look good," she said. You look tired. Russia does that. She reached out, then stopped. Can I? He nodded. She touched his face briefly, like confirming he was real. I'm proud of you. You don't get to be proud. You weren't here. I was here in your DNA, in your skills, in your ability to survive. Dad taught me to survive. You taught me to destroy. Sometimes they're the same thing. No, Miles said firmly. They're not. She pulled out an envelope. For your birthday. I know it's not for 3 months, but... He took it, unopened. Information about Phoenix Protocol? Everything I know. The price? No price. Consider it a graduation gift. There's always a price with you. The price is you knowing I helped stop something terrible, that maybe in the ledger of my life, it counts for something good. Miles studied her, then pulled out his own envelope. Dad doesn't know I have this. She opened it. Inside were photos Miles growing up. First day of school, science fair victories, prom, moments she'd missed. Why? She asked, crying now. Because you're still my mother, broken, twisted, damaged, but mine, and everyone deserves to see what they lost. The guard signaled time up. Take care of your sister, Miles said. She's innocent in all this. For now, keep her that way. I'll try. She left without looking back. That night, the intelligence she'd provided led to raids in 17 countries. Phoenix Protocol was dismantled, the families either recruited or neutralized. You did good, I told Miles as we watched the news reports. I did what was necessary. That's all any of us can do. Sophia joined us, bringing coffee and classified reports. Claire's back in Moscow. Dmitri thinks she was shopping in Paris. Good. You think we'll see her again? Miles asked. Probably. We're connected, all of us. The damage recognizes itself. Is that from your book? The book I never published. But yeah. Why didn't you publish it? I thought about it. The manuscript was complete, had been for 2 years. The story of a marriage destroyed, a family reborn, a world of shadows revealed. Because some stories aren't meant for the public. They're meant for us, the beautiful damage, the ones who understand that love and betrayal can exist in the same space, that families are built on lies and truth simultaneously. That's messed up, Dad. Yes, it is. We sat in comfortable silence, 3 people who'd chosen each other despite the blood and betrayal that brought us together. Outside, the world spun on, unaware of the wars fought in shadows, the families broken and rebuilt in service of secrets. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, but I recognized the tone. Thank you for the photos. Hope loves seeing her brother. Maybe someday. See. I deleted it without responding. Some bridges were meant to stay burned. Movie night? Sophia suggested. Something normal? Nothing about us is normal, Miles pointed out. No, I agreed, but we can pretend. Isn't that how all this started? Pretending? I looked at my son, wise beyond his years. No, it started with believing the pretense. We know better now. Do we? We know enough. That night, we watched some mindless action movie, pointing out the tactical errors and impossible physics. A normal family tradition in an abnormal family. Miles fell asleep on the couch, looking younger in sleep, almost innocent. He'll be okay, Sophia said quietly. Will he? He has us. That's more than most in this life get. Is it enough? It has to be. I thought about Claire in Moscow, raising hope with lies and careful truths, about Reed Thompson or David Webb or whoever he'd really been, dead or hiding or planning another resurrection, about all the broken people doing broken things in service of nations that saw them as tools. Henry? Sophia said. Where'd you go? Nowhere. Just thinking about damage. And how sometimes the most beautiful things are the most broken. That's either profound or really depressing. Both. Usually both. She kissed me, real and present, and choosing this moment despite all the others that led here. The book, she said. You should write it. Not for publication, but for Miles, so he knows the whole truth someday. He knows enough. Does he know Claire saved you once? Before all this? The incident in Prague you never talk about? I looked at her, surprised. How do you... I know everything, Henry. It's what I do, but Miles doesn't. He should know his mother was a hero once before she was a villain. She was never really either. She was just... damaged? Human. Catastrophically human. That night I started writing again. Not the exposé I'd planned, but something else. A love story, maybe. Or a war story. Or both. Because in our world, they were often the same thing. Claire, I wrote, was the most beautiful damage I ever saw. Broken in all the right places to fit into my own breaks. We were puzzle pieces from different boxes, forced together by handlers who didn't care if the picture made sense. But for a brief moment, in the space between lies, we were real, and we created something perfect in our imperfection. Our son. Who would grow up to be the best of us, despite us, because of us? This is his story, which is our story, which is the story of all the beautiful damage walking around pretending to be whole. It starts with blood. It ends with choice. Everything in between is just the price we pay for both. I saved the file, encrypted it, hid it in places only Miles would think to look. Someday, when he was ready, he'd find it. He'd read about his parents' war, their love, their mutual destruction and separate salvations. And maybe he'd understand that beautiful damage isn't about being broken. It's about choosing what to build from the pieces. The end. Epilogue. 10 years later, the secure facility in Switzerland was nothing like I'd imagined. More university than prison, where intelligence assets children learn to be normal. Hope Davis, 12 years old, stood before a panel that included her brother. "Why do you want to leave the program?" Miles asked, professional despite the personal. "Because I don't want to be beautiful damage," she said, Claire's eyes in a face that could have been Sophia's. "I want to be beautiful normal. There's no such thing. Then I want to be ugly normal, boring normal. Anything but this." Miles looked at me, questioning. I nodded. "Approved," he said. "Foster family in Canada, new identity, no contact with biological family." "Ever?" "Until you're 18. Then you choose." Hope stood to leave, then turned back. "Did she love me?" "Who?" Miles asked, though we all knew. "Our mother. As much as she could love anyone." "Was it enough?" Miles considered. "It was what it was. The question is what you do with it." She left, escorted by handlers who'd ensure her new life stayed new. Outside, Sophia waited in the car. "How'd it go?" "She chose freedom," I said. "Smart girl. She's Claire's daughter. She's her own person. That's the point." As we drove away, Miles said quietly, "I would have chosen differently." "You did choose differently." "Did I? Or was I just too damaged to see the cage?" Miles, "It's okay, Dad. I chose my damage. Hope chose healing. Both are valid." "Are they?" He smiled, Claire's smile but warmer. "They have to be. Otherwise, what was it all for?" What was it all for? The question that haunted every intelligence family, every broken bond, every beautiful damage pretending to be whole. "For this," I said. "For the choice. For the chance to choose. Even if we choose wrong. Especially then, because at least we chose." The Swiss Alps faded behind us, and with them, the last piece of Claire's legacy given freedom. Hope would grow up normal, or as normal as genetics allowed. Miles would continue the work, the beautiful damage serving its purpose. And I would write it all down, the real story this time, for archives that wouldn't open for 50 years. By then, we'd all be gone. But the choices would remain. Beautiful and damaged, permanent and profound. The only truth in a world built on lies. We become what we choose to build from our broken pieces, and sometimes against all odds, what we build is actually beautiful. For real this time.